Jesus' name.
Amen. Amen. All right. Tonight we're going to talk about dogs, which is my favorite subject ever. Anybody a dog person in here? 100% dog person. Love dogs. All right, very good. Anybody who's like, I could deal without dogs. I can live without dogs, 100%. And so you're going to find out very quickly where my stance is on dogs when we start talking about this. But it's a whole entire thing I'd like to talk about, and trust me, I got a point, so don't write me off too quickly. Let's ask a question here for everybody to kind of sit with a little bit. Why do we love dogs so much? Why? Why do we think we love dogs so much?
They love us.
Because they love us. You can't talk back.
They're loyal.
They have great personalities.
Great personalities. Very good. Yes?
I like how they have that sixth sense.
Sixth sense. See dead people. Very good. Yeah.
Lick my face.
They lick your face. Sometimes you need a good face licking. Dogs are the only ones down to do it. Yes?
They can recognize like a stroke or a heart attack before it even happens.
They're good doctors. Psychics, too. Very good.
They're companions.
Good companions. Absolutely. Yeah. There's all kinds of reasons why we love dogs, right? It seems to be all these characteristics that come up that really get us to
They're
understand.
good protectors too.
Good protectors. I mean, yeah. For the most part, we tend to think about a lot of reasons as to why we like dogs. A lot of the reasons being characteristics in which some of us feel as though we don't have. So it's just like, it's good to have that around, that dog to be around. For a long time, dogs have been very much part of history, and they've always considered that dog is man's best friend. And scientifically, at least, it's proven that dogs actually have a deeper connection with humans than any other animal. And one of the reasons why is because dogs are super perceptive of us. And specifically, they read hands. In case you haven't noticed, dogs read hands very well. So when they're paying attention to you, they're trying to figure out what you're doing with your hands. So if you're afraid and you do one of these, and they're going to notice that, again, they can see it in your hand. So just to let you guys know. But that type of connection has been around forever. And whether it is that dogs have just been on the street and part of the neighborhood, or dogs have been domesticated and put into the house, one way or another, dogs have been part of human history. And they kind of live with that. Well, the Bible talks about dogs. Actually talks about dogs a lot. A whole lot. And it's very interesting how it talks about dogs. And I would love to share a couple scriptures with you about what that looks like. I'm not going to dig into any of them per se. I just want to show you, some of the scriptures that go along with the word dogs in the Bible. Here's one in Matthew 7:6. Do not give dogs what is holy, and do not throw your pearls before pigs, lest they trample them underfoot and turn to attack you. All right, thanks. Here's another one. Proverbs 26:11. Like a dog that returns to his vomit is a fool who repeats his folly. Nice, good scripture. I like that one. Next, Philippians 3:2. Look out for the dogs. Look out for the evildoers. Look out for those who mutilate the flesh. All right, I'm getting the theme so far. There's another one here in Revelation 22:15. Outside are the dogs and sorcerers and the sexual immoral and murderers and idolaters and everyone who loves and practices falsehood. It's a very strange one to me that dogs is in that category, but there it is. And here's my last one here. His watchmen are blind. They are all without knowledge. They are all silent dogs. They cannot bark, dreaming, lying down, loving the slumber. Isaiah 56:10. In case you didn't catch what I caught, dogs are not necessarily in a very positive light in the Bible. It's actually pretty negative for the most part. And funny enough is I was actually looking for positive scripture for dogs specifically, and I didn't find one. So when you go to the Bible, there actually isn't any positive scripture for dogs, but it's not to say that God hates dogs per se. It's more so to say that dogs have a specific kind of, we'll say, representation, if you would. Yes?
Hey, in that first one where it said, don't give dogs what is holy?
Yeah. Talk me out. Yes?
I think that's because when you think of dogs, back then especially, they had a lot of wild dogs.
Yes, absolutely. And that's a big piece of that. But the Bible, as you check it out, is in the Bible, dogs represent the worst parts of humanity. The worst parts of humanity. That's why it's chucked into a list of sexual immorality and all kinds of other evildoers, and also dogs. And so when you see that come together, you kind of start noticing it's like, well, it seems as though there's a very specific understanding about how dogs are, and most of them, I would assume, are not domesticated, but some of them are considered being part of the master. It says it's not good for it's not good to be able to throw the food to the dogs, but the masters are very much part of that. So it's not like they're all just not domesticated. The fact of the matter is that when I see this, and I see how the Bible talks about dogs, I try to open up my mind a little bit more and see, I wonder why that is the case. And as we study dogs in general, outside of our fluffy feelings about dogs, we kind of tend to see that dogs can be a lot of different things in general. And what I tend to find out and Tria might attest, is that plenty of people would rather deal with a dog than a person. There's a lot of people in the world that would rather deal with dogs than deal with people. In fact, I know people that have cried their eyes out for dogs and couldn't cry for a friend that died, but cried for a dog that died. It's a real thing. People literally go through those types of things in their lives. And it happens actually all the time. Become part of the family. It's very super American thing, but especially down in Southern California. We love our dogs very much. Just go to the beach, you'll find all kinds of people walking their dogs and nice little tutus and shoes that they have on and everything. But, we love our dogs. Which is interesting to me. Plenty of people that would rather deal with a dog than a person. When I start thinking about dogs and characteristics, sorry to tell you, I'm not necessarily a dog person myself. We had a couple dogs growing up, and I liked a couple of them. But man, I think I might be too logical for loving dogs. Because when I see dogs, I see things like this. They're not self-sufficient. They can't walk themselves, they don't feed themselves, they don't go to a job and add anything to our rent, so they're not really self-sufficient. They're super codependent. They need us for just about everything it is that we do. They can't be self-sufficient anyway, they're also codependent. They're highly jealous. Whenever you see them going around, they're usually barking at whoever it is that's taking their attention. They're not very jealous themselves. They're ridiculously impulsive, highly impulsive. They'll just do things on the fly, they just don't care. They'll eat food faster than they can even smell it. Some of them are violently protective, and not really down to, start talking about things first, so bite first, ask questions later. A lot of them are ridiculously paranoid. Any sound whatsoever that's crossing by is the death of your family. And so they're violently paranoid, and every single time they hear something or see something, everything is sus to them, so they're always all the time.
Maybe that's a girlfriend like that.
Ah, yes. Trying to see some correlations already, right? So another one is, maybe not all dogs, but my dog's definitely this, is lazy. Dogs are lazy. Like to sit around, lay around, and sleep all day long. And they choose when they want to be excited about things, and then they just go right back to sleep and don't do anything else for the rest of the day. Another one is that they're huge beggars. Huge beggars. They sit at the table all day long, beg, 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 beg. The only thing to get you out of there, you kick them, get out of here, or maybe if you have some discipline to train them not to beg, but for the most part, they are straight up beggars. And the last one I have here is that they're highly inconsiderate. Highly inconsiderate. They don't care about how it is that you feel. They don't care if you're laying on the bed and want to be there by yourself. They don't care if you're doing something right now. They need what they need right now, and they want it as soon as possible. They're highly inconsiderate. This is my list for dogs, and I'm sticking to it. This to me is a pretty strong list just because I've noticed dogs on the outside being able to have these kinds of characteristics. And obviously I'm judging dogs like I would a person, and I feel like it's fair, especially if you're going to be part of the family, so might as well judge them the exact same way, right? I think the fact of the matter is that we do this forever. Disney might have something to do with this. We personify dogs, which is to give them personalities. We personify dogs to reflect what we're willing to put up with in people. I believe that we put our emotional state on dogs, on animals in general, to reflect how it is that we are and how we want to treat something or somebody. I believe that is the truth. Which means that all of these characteristics that we see have a lot to do with how it is that we see people. All these characteristics that we're willing to put up with have a lot to do with how we put up with people as well. So there are certain people, if you line it up, I have one of my neighbors, she has a couple of tiny little dogs. They're always barking all the time, and they're not very considerate, and they're always running around and coming up to my gate and just like barking into my house while I'm trying to take a nap and wake me up as they're barking. They're not trained very well at all. Well, my manager's daughter lives in the same apartment complex, and she's the same way. She's loud and obnoxious, and she's yelling and screaming all over the place, and she doesn't care. She's completely inconsiderate. And you know what? The common denominator is the mom who probably didn't train either one of them. And so when I see certain things like this being shared, it seems pretty obvious to me that when the people say something like, oh man, the dog has a lot of the same personality as the owner, right? You ever heard that before?
Oh, yeah.
A lot of those things happen to be very true. And so all in all, I get to see some pretty interesting things when it comes to this. But I gotta be fair, there are a couple pretty dang good traits about dogs, right? One of them is that they're caring. Kind of. Kind of. I mean, they care, but I mean, why do they care? Right? They might get something, right? By the end of it, they might get some food, they might get some cuddles and some pleasure or something of the sort. So they kind of care, but not really. They kind of care with something that comes along with it, right? You know what? But they're loyal. Kind of. You ever see somebody else? If I grab my dog right now and I walked up and I said, my dog is loyal, she'll always stick by my side. Somebody literally across the street just had a hot dog, you better believe she's not loyal anymore. She's going to run away. I'm telling you right now, somebody can steal my dog, zero problem. Zero problem. She's not going to say, no, I don't want to go with you. I'm loyal to him. She's not going to do that. She'll go happily. Just go with you. She'll be gone. She'll be super gone. That's just how they are. When it comes down to it, they're actually not that loyal. And when they are, they just kind of decide when they want to be loyal. But I mean, this is, again, the two traits that people usually land to when it comes to those types of things. And I'll give you that. But at the end of the day, I feel like it's not that much. And the lists are kind of a little lopsided. But I think that the reason why is because we ignore the bad because we're desperate for the good. But the reason why we do this is because we ignore all the bad stuff because we're pretty desperate for the good stuff that it is they have. Loving and caring when I come home and feeling good with them. That's actually worth it to me. I like that feeling so much that I'm really willing to put up with all the bad. Hopefully we're starting to think about people by this point because
Yes, we are.
I feel like it's pretty similar. And I think that we treat dogs as innocent even though they choose to do wrong all of the time. How many times have you told the dog no? They know what no means. It's clear. You made it clear. No. Yet, they do it all the time. So then you find people, no, you better not, you better not, no. So they choose over and over again to do what they know they're not supposed to do. But we treat them as innocent all the time. They're so innocent they don't understand. Don't understand what? I was taught morality myself and I still chose to do things incorrectly. So dogs are not necessarily innocent as much as it is that they still choose to do what is wrong. What I believe in total is that we have a toxic relationship with dogs. Toxic relationship with dogs. A lot of these characteristics kind of like wash over us. And we just kind of eat it. We're just kind of there for it, right? Well, given all this information, I've thought this for a very long time. Very long time. And it's very much a very specific type of way of looking at things. Well, I want to introduce you to Cotton Ball Reyes.
Who's Cotton and why are we talking about
Who is Cotton? Why are we talking about this? It's Cotton Ball Reyes. She was born. She was born in November with 3 other siblings, and she was identified as deaf at 3 weeks old. That's her right there. She was born, and by this point, about 4 years ago. And when she was born, she was just a little puppy. And we got to be there for literally the ground up of her birth. Like I said, she was born in November with 3 other siblings. And then she was identified as deaf about 3 years old. Now, when she was born, the other siblings, we sold or gave away a couple of them. We kept these 2. And then eventually we got rid of Dot, which was the other twin sister, literally identical except for the nose. And, and the eyes. If you notice, Cotton, she has a blue eye and a black eye. This one had a blue eye and a black eye. It was literally just switched. Wow. And so we had both of them for a while. They wanted to pick one, and I said, keep the one that isn't deaf. What are you, nuts? Like, why would we want a deaf dog? It doesn't make any sense. Get rid of the deaf dog. Like, it's going to be a pain in the butt to have to deal with a deaf dog. Get rid of her. But then eventually, nobody's going to take care of her very well. Like, oh my God, of course not. We're not. So eventually they got rid of the dog that can hear, the more efficient dog. And I was stuck. We were stuck with the deaf dog. And about 3 weeks into it, we noticed that, she doesn't come when everybody, all the other litter comes. It took a couple of weeks to figure that out, but it did. She lived a happy little life. She was beat up by her twin sister all the time. Dot was the one who was way more dominant. And also, she ate her poo for a year. She ate her own poo for a year, which is annoying. But she had a lot of energy. She got beat up a lot. She was very submissive. And on top of that, she watched her. Apparently, it's okay for mothers to eat the poo of their litter. Well, she saw that and was like, oh, okay, I guess I'm cool with it too. And so it created a whole entire problem within itself where you had to literally watch her all the time so she didn't eat her poo too much. But she started growing up, and eventually we got rid of the twin sister, and she was capable of kind of growing on her own. Well, she usually, because she was deaf, she followed the lead of other dogs because it's not that she can hear things, so when she saw dogs running, she was like, oh, something must be happening over there. So she would run out to the opposite direction as well. What ended up happening is that she became dominant over her own mother. So she really didn't have a lot of fear at all. And so eventually she became the dominant one. She became alpha amongst all the female dogs. And then she became the alpha one out of all of them. And by all of them, I only mean her mother, the boxer, and this little tiny chihuahua back here. So she ended up being a strong one in the group. Well, in that time frame, I didn't have a job. I just got fired from Melrose, and at that time, I was, just collecting unemployment. And at that time, I was very annoyed, but I was the one who had to raise her because I was the only one at home without a job. And so I stayed home, and I said, "Great, now I'm going to raise this stupid deaf dog. Then this is going to be dumb." And slowly but surely, I started falling in love with the stupid deaf dog. Slowly but surely, this dog has really started leaving an impression on me. And so I trained her for about a solid 2 years. And after that 2 years of me being really connected, me and my ex broke up, and I didn't get to see the dog again. After that, it was cut all ties. I'm not going to go over and see the dog. It's not like our kid or anything. So they cut the ties, and I just stopped seeing her. And I didn't see her for a year. For a year, I didn't get to see the dog. That was probably the most heartbreaking part of the whole breakup for me, personally. But it sucked. And in that year time, though, I learned what it meant to try to be as independent as possible and not need anything, even a dog, to be able to be codependent to. And so, in so many different ways, it was a blessing to be living without her. But she just stayed in the house that she was raised in with the dogs that she was in. Well, a year later after that, I was called by the owner, which is my ex's mother, and she said, "Hey, I can't handle this crazy dog anymore. Can you please take her?" And I said, "You know what? Yes, I will." And I did, and eventually she landed in my house. And so she moved in with me this year, in I want to say March, and she's adapted to this brand new environment, which is not great. It's a tiny little apartment, but she adapts. And because of that, she's been with me ever since. And that's when you guys got to meet her. And being able to meet this dog, she's right outside in case you didn't see her on the way in. She has a lot of personality, if you would. And I've been able to watch this dog have personality. I've been able to watch this dog have these traits that I'm talking about. Trust me when I say I'm not undoing what I said. Everything I said beforehand is 100% true. So I don't think the story is going to be, "Oh, now Anthony loves dogs." No, that's not true. I don't love dogs. Dogs are still the same to me, which is that they're inconsiderate and a bunch of jerks and everything like that. But I was able to see a side of dogs that I wasn't able to see before with a personal relationship with Cotton. And so, let's see what we can learn from Cotton. Learning from Cotton. Learning what to do and not to do from Cotton. Watch it long enough, you'll be able to catch on some things when it comes down to this dog. She's in trouble right here. She peed on the carpet. Oh, she knows. She knows. Again, don't. She's in it. They're innocent. They're not. They know what they're doing. So, we'll start with the negative. We have some pretty negative things about Cotton. One, she's a big whiner. Big whiner. She whines about everything, and you think to yourself, she's deaf. She wouldn't make a sound. No, she doesn't hear her own sound, so she'll go on forever and ever and ever and ever. And she knows better now than I house. You're not doing anything out here. So she stopped whining as much, but on a standard, she is a full-blown whiner. She has a shock collar outside. That's one of the reasons why I have the shock collar, is because she's a huge whiner. I understand it's controversial to a lot of people, but I don't care. After a big whiner, I would say that she gets into things. She just looks for new things to get into. Just walks around and finds brand new things that I didn't even consider that she can get into. She's like a detective. I wouldn't have thought I'd get into that thing, but she finds brand new things to get into. I'm like, great. Now I got to put this up here, and now I got to move this over here and buy bins so she doesn't get inside. It's a total headache. But she gets into things all the time. She ruins stuff. She just likes to chewing on things all the time. And the last thing I have here for her negative is that she thinks dogs are annoying. When she's around with the dog, she's cool with them for a second, and then after a while, she's like, "All right, I'm over it." And then she's like, "Yeah, get away from me!" And she's like constantly barking at dogs, like, "Get out of here! I don't want to deal with you anymore." She very much is alpha for sure, but again, she just gets annoyed with the dogs. That's just how she is, and so that's not helpful for me because I can't take her out without her getting crazy with other dogs. And so it becomes just like, great. Now I'm in a prison because I can't take you where I want to go. I'm not going to consider it about. Is there going to be another dog there? Yes, there is. All right, I can't take her over. It's not possible. That's why a couple times where I test things out, like today with the other ones, like I'm going to test things out, see if she's cool. And sometimes she's cool, but again, after a while, she's like, all right, get out of here. I don't want to deal with you anymore. That's just the way that she is. Well, in the negative, I have a couple things that I think that as I'm learning lessons from Cotton, I can see humanity very quickly. So let me tell you some things about Cotton in the negative that she does that I find to be pretty relevant. She destroys things knowing that she shouldn't. Knowing that she shouldn't. Anybody in here destroy things knowing that you shouldn't? There are a lot of things that we understand about morality, what we should or shouldn't do, but for some reason, we do it anyway, right? That's impulsiveness. So I'll do this thing where right after I've seen this happen, right after I leave the house, lock, go to my garage, forgot something, come back, unlock, open the door, she has something in her mouth that she got from the sink. And she knows for a fact you're not allowed to go there. It was literally less than a minute that she did that. Less than a minute. All she was waiting for was me to leave. And she's like, all right, cool, sounds good. She knows that she shouldn't, because the second I got there, she went, and she just like went away, like completely went away from where I was, because she knew you're not supposed to do that. Yet she does it anyway. Again, this is something that I see happening in ourselves all the time. We know. It has nothing to do with you don't know. We like to pretend we don't know. Oh, I didn't know. Yes, you did. You know morality. You know what is good. You know how to do good things. We just choose not to. We're impulsive, and then all of a sudden we want to pretend that we don't know something. No, you know something. Cotton knows. This is the other one that I mentioned. Cotton ate her own poo for a year, even though she knew she'd get in trouble for it every time. Anybody ever ingest something knowing that you'll get in trouble after you ingest something? Yes. She knew for a fact that she wasn't supposed to do that. When she was a baby, I did flicking on her butt. Hey, stop it, don't do that. And she very quickly understood what that meant. If you ever see me go to her and do this to her, especially for the nose, as she got a little bit older, I flicked the nose. She now understands this as no, don't. And she respects that. Okay, all right. And she just walks away from it. She understands from this. I did this every single time. Every single time I did this. Got to points where I like literally grab her and I throw her across the room like this. No, stop eating your poo. There's a couple reasons for that. One, it's not healthy. But two, it makes your breath smell like poo. And you're walking around as a puppy. Oh my God, it's so cute. Licking your face after that is disgusting. So, no, don't do that. Constantly training. She did this for a year. A year she did this. We would literally go outside and you would say, like, there's no poo out here. we would have a backyard and she would have free reign to do that and go out and poo and pee all over the place, and there was never any poo outside. Yet you would see on the concrete a little brown stain with nothing on that brown stain. You're like, oh my gosh, she's eating full-blown piles of poo. By that point, I guess that is some sort of self-sufficiency. I didn't have to feed her after that because she's eating her own food, but hey, you got to practice. But we do this kind of thing all the time. We know that we're going to get in trouble. We know we're going to get ourselves in trouble, yet we do it anyway. We go into that place anyway. Another thing that she did, which was really annoying, she prefers others' food, not her own. When we had 3 bowls, she'd eat her food, but then the second she saw somebody else eating their food, she would go and eat their food. Anybody in here ever want what somebody else has instead of what it is that you have?
Yeah.
That's called lust. To want something you don't currently have. To lust after something else. Cotton does this all the time. She has the same exact bowl with the exact same food, and yet she doesn't want hers, she wants theirs. It was very strange for me to see that. Obviously, most people that have dogs understand this, that dogs do this all the time. But it turns into this weird, collecting, this is mine type of thing. I want what you have. I'm not interested in what I have, I want what you have. And then after I'm done eating what you have, I'll eat what I have. She was like this all the time. It was really annoying. And her being the dominant one, we had to step in. Like, stop it! Knock it off and throw her in a different room just to be able to eat. It was a pain in the butt. Well, outside of the negative things are certain things that are just kind of traits, if you will. One, she recognizes bad behavior. She does. She recognizes bad behavior. She'll react to it. She understands what bad behavior is. So that's a pretty decent thing to have. Another one is that
when she's doing it or when other people are doing it?
when she's doing it. She understands because she's trained. I did train her decent, not great, but decent. And so another one is that she wants to be close. She always wants to be close. Now, depending on who you are and what time of day it is, sometimes that's not a good thing. That's why I put it in this category. It's like, yeah, she always wants to be close, but I'm not trying to have that right now, you know? She'd be 100% all on, and you're and certain times when you're feeling lonely and your day sucked, it's oh, thank you so much. But there's other days where I'm feeling hot, dude, go away. I'm not trying to have that right now. But it's just part of her characteristic. She wants to be close. Another one here is that she doesn't fear. A big piece of this has to do with the fact that she can't hear anything. If you notice about dogs, one of the more sensitive senses that they have is hearing. And because they have such sensitive hearing, when they hear things that are certain loud stuff, vacuum cleaners, certain things outside, leaf blowers, stuff like that, it freaks them out. She doesn't have that problem because she's deaf. And so I can do the vacuum cleaner and she's just watching it go back and forth and she just doesn't know what's happening. And so things, if anybody was here for 4th of July, she was with us at 4th of July, just hanging out outside, just watching the fireworks go off. And it's the only thing that she felt is the really loud ones that are vibrations. She can feel the vibrations. What was that? But other than that, she doesn't have an issue with sound. And so because of that, she really doesn't have a lot of fear. She's just really kind of prancing around. She's just oh yeah, life is cool. And she has that life about her. She's just full of life, if you would. So a couple of these things that she looks to me after she barks. This is trained. I trained her this way. She looks to me after she barks and she wants to know it's okay. I don't like her barking, and she especially don't like her barking in our apartment complex. It's one of the reasons why I have that shock collar on her, because I live alone. And so when I had her there at the house, it took literally 2 shocks for her to realize I will not bark when this is around my neck. And after that, and since then, which is months ago, I flipped it to vibration. So now it's just vibration. When it goes on, when she barks, it just goes vibrate. It kind of puts her in place real quick. Well, again, I don't like her barking at the apartment complex because it's noise complaints really quick. So she knows when she barks, anywhere now, when she barks, she looks to me. She wants to know, is that okay? She wants to know, is that fine? Is I in trouble right now? Like, what's going on right here, right? Does anybody in here ever do that? Where you do something, you check with somebody, accountability one way or another. Is that okay? Is that fine? Did I do something bad? Is that good? Am I allowed to do that now? Am I allowed to be angry right now? Is that a good thing? Am I being too vulnerable? You know, start asking these types of questions. She does that. She looks at me, the person it is that she respects, I think, after she barks. After she barks, she does that because she knows she can. This one is she checks her surroundings before she eats or drinks. This is trauma. Full-blown trauma. Whenever she would eat her poo, or eat somebody else's food, because she can't hear, I would come up to her behind her, not considering that she can't hear or not, and I would snip her in the butt, like that. And so imagine this, completely deaf, you didn't hear anything coming whatsoever, and you're doing your thing, you're eating your poo, and you're just going at it, and all of a sudden, wham, you get hit. And all of a sudden she just like freaks out, she's like, what the heck just happened, you know? It happened a lot, again, a year of poo eating. She did that for such a long time that now, I don't have to do that with her anymore. I'm not worried about what she eats. When she goes to eat her, I can be on the other side of the room, and she goes all the way over here, and she stops and she'll look at me for a second, and then she'll eat or drink. And then she'll talk one more time, and then she'll come back and then she'll do the thing. What she's waiting for, again, is the trauma response. The trauma response. Because she has been treated a certain way since she was young, she now has this knee-jerk reaction about how it is she handles things. Anybody in here know what this feels like? When you were young enough, something happened, whether it was highly traumatic or a little bit, or some sort of tick that it is that we have now, it's all connected to our childhood one way or another, right? Basically, either based off of somebody who's abusive, if you like to call me that, or based off of a certain type of discipline. Certain people do things because of discipline. I always, do A, B, and C because my dad always taught me that I should be doing this, and that. Well, I would say this is more trauma back than anything else. But that's what that looks like for her. And then our last one in this category is that she's unaware of her size. She still has no idea that she's a big dog. She doesn't know that. She still believes that she's a tiny dog. I don't have a picture here, but she will literally, my couch is a 2-person couch. It's very small. I got it because it was cheap and efficient. So it's a 2-person couch, and when I want to lay on the couch, she gets up on me as though she's a tiny puppy and just cuddle up on top of me. She's heavy. And so if she does that, she literally is, by this point, still unaware of how big she is. She has no idea how big she is. She has no idea about her size. She's unaware. She's not self-aware. I say that she's not socially aware either.
Right.
The way that she interacts with other dogs, she's not socially aware. If you ever see her, she's always jumping up and being all up in your space and everything like that. She just has no idea who she is. She doesn't know what she is. Anybody have troubles with not knowing who they are, unaware of what it is that you've become? Oh, I didn't know that people saw me like that. I didn't know that I was like this. All these different things come into place, right? She's completely unaware of her size. Completely. Well, when I start studying this dog, obviously there's a lot of negative things. You can tell that I'm not really a dog person, hopefully. But there's this very specific lesson, I think, that I've learned as a growing Christian, I would consider still a baby Christian in these things, is that we're constantly watching everything, right? And eventually it turns into a thing where you start watching things, and like a Rorschach test. Have you ever seen those therapists Rorschach test, little ink blots? If you're negative, you're probably going to see something negative, right? Well, eventually what ends up happening is that if you start trying to see something positive, you can actually start seeing things positive. So for a long time, dogs were just useless and all these other things, but when I actually had a time to be able to spend with my own dog, I was able to see a couple things that are actually pretty good. So here are a couple of good things about Cotton. She loves people. If anybody's ever met the dog, she really does like people. She prefers people over dogs, that's for sure. She loves people. She's always around. She's always happy to see people. It doesn't matter who they are either. She loves people. The other one is that she's a good listener. Great listener. She is constantly listening by watching. Like I said, dogs are like this anyway. they watch body language. A lot of us think we're good listeners because we sit there and listen to a full-blown rant, but the fact of the matter is that are you really listening though? Are you really like taking in what people are saying and how they are? She's constantly watching. She's constantly seeing what's happening. She can tell when she's going to go for a walk. I barely make a decision for her, and she can tell that she's going for a walk. Like coming up, like, do I want to take her for a walk? And do I want to do this? And she's just like, I'm ready. Let's do it. She knows what I'm going to do because she's watching my movement. She knows on my daily routine, which I do the same routine every day. She's like, I know what's happening next. I'm going to go for a walk. After she uses the restroom in the morning, we're going to go for a walk. She knows it's going to happen. It's because she's constantly paying attention to what's happening. She's a great listener. And the last thing I have here is that she loves to play. She loves to play. She has so much energy, and I've been told that boxers have a lot of energy in general. So she has so much energy. So she could be playing out there for literally like 2 hours straight, and she's cool with that. That's all she ever wants to do. So if you ever see her come up to you with one of the balls that she has out there, she's like, I'll play forever, as long as you're down to play with me. She loves to play. These two things right here I think are really important because it actually pays to how it is that I see people in general too. So let me tell you 3 specific things that I've learned from her. She is so content in the presence of others. She is so content in the presence of others. All she needs is to be with people. That's it. She doesn't care about being by herself sucks, because when I leave, she usually just goes to sleep. Curls up and just goes to sleep. It's like, all right, well, there's nothing for me to do here. I've puppy-proofed the whole entire place, so she can't get into anything. It's like, there's no fun, I can't do anything, so she just curls up and just goes to sleep. And let's just wait for me to get home. So when I get home, she's like, oh my God, this is the best ever. All I want is just to be in your presence. I just want to be around you, and that's all it is that she needs. That's all it is that she wants. That's a powerful lesson for me. So content in the presence of others. Why are you happy? Because I'm around others. Why are you happy on a Sunday? Because, man, I just get to be around others. She talks about it all the time. It's just a piece of asphalt. What we can do with just a piece of asphalt. Well, what was added to that piece of asphalt? It was people. We didn't get the speaker so quickly. We didn't get the hot dog so quickly. We didn't have the raffle so quickly. We had people. A lot of people. And if we can be content in saying, I'm good with just the people that are here, what a huge lesson for us. Man, I wish that I could be a little bit more like that. Yeah. The next one here that I have from Todd is that she gets excited for anyone who comes over, making them feel special. People come over and legitimately think, oh my gosh, she's so excited to see me. When she gets really excited to see somebody new, she pees. She pees on my carpet, which is really annoying. And I'm trying to figure out the space of like, does she get punished for that? No, it's because she's just excited. She just can't hold her bladder. It's annoying. But at the same time, she gets so excited to see anyone. She doesn't pee for me, that's for sure. She gets home, when anybody comes over, she's so excited to see them. So excited to see them. And it makes them feel really special. It makes them feel as though like, wow, my God, she loves me so much. And like, oh my God, your dog's so great. She's like blowing up with all this excitement, and people are feeling so special about that. She makes herself look like a dork. She's like flying all this, she's peeing herself, and she's like, she's just loving her life so much, and she makes you feel like $1 million. I don't think that I've ever gotten so excited for somebody that I made them feel special. That's sad. Honestly, a person that it is that I can point to is Chief. And I'm not just saying that because he's here. I'm saying that because it's true. I've watched him in the past 6 years, not a long time, but man, I've watched him be excited to see people. So excited to put him on front and introduce him to everybody, and they feel just so special. They feel like $1 million. He's not paying himself, hopefully, but he's getting to that place where he's making people feel like $1 million. And again, that's a hard thing to do, because at least for myself, it's a hard thing for me to do, to be like, I'm just gonna drop all of everything. If I'm trying to be cool, or if I'm trying to be, just keeping my ideas together about how the day is gonna go, right? Just drop all of that to be able to say, oh my God, it's so good to see you. And sometimes looking like a little foolish sometimes, giving them hugs and be like, oh my God, I'm so excited to see you. To be able to do that, to make somebody feel like $1 million, is it worth it in the long run? I think it is. So then by that point, people are like, man, I'd love to go over to Anthony's house because the dog there makes me excited. It's not me. It's the dog that makes me excited. I'm like, oh my God, that dog loves me so much. And then there's the last piece that I learned from her as well. She loves strangers just as much as her familiars. She loves strangers just as much as me. She loves strangers just as much as my mother, just as much as my sister, just as much as the people she's seen all the time. She loves strangers the exact same way. It's very interesting for me to see that. And that's where my idea of her not being loyal comes from. It's like, you're not loyal, you love everybody like this. The fact of the matter is that this same type of thing, Trina and I have had conversations about this, is like, do you have to love your family more than other people? No. You you love everybody the same. You read your Bible, you end up finding out that everybody deserves that love. Your responsibility is to your family, but the love is the same across the board. When you're able to digest that, end up noticing that, well, God does that actually. She loves strangers just as much as the people that she knows very well. To be able to have that trait would be amazing. It would be amazing to have a trait like this. To be able to love strangers just as much as the people that I know, my family and my friends. But she does it, no problem whatsoever. Here's a quote from one of my favorite pastors. It says, you can lose your job, your lady can break up with you, somebody can tell you that you suck, but when you get home, the dog will love you anyway. The dog's love is like no other. Bill G. Aguilar. I've heard him say this a couple times in my life, actually. A couple times. And when he says these things, I'm like, yeah, but dogs are, they have all these excuses as to why dogs are the way they are. The fact of the matter is, this is exactly true. He's not, if you ask him, he's not saying that he loves dogs and he wants dogs to be around. He's just admiring and knows that that dog will love you regardless. There's an unconditional love coming from that dog. And I can't compete with that. I can't. This is very true. The dog doesn't know what happened in your life. You can come home crying and the dog will still be happy to see you. You can come home and you lost everything and the dog will still be happy to see you. There's something that the dog is doing that I know that I'm not. Yeah. 2 more slides for you. 1 Corinthians 13:1-3, it says, though I speak with the tongues of men and angels, but have not love, I become sounding brass or a clanging cymbal. If I can speak wise and I don't have love to back that up, then I become noise. And though I have the gift of prophecy and understanding all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have all faith so I can remove mountains, but have not love, I am nothing. You can have all the faith in the world, all the spiritual gifts. If you don't have love, you're nothing, is what it says. And though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burned, but have not love, it profits me nothing. I can give charity, I can help the homeless, I can do all that, but if you don't have any love, it profits you nothing. When I'm over here judging this dog, all its negative traits and everything, but the one thing that dog has is a full-blown unconditional love, I get to the point where I feel pretty convicted. I think to myself, this dog that's understood as a low level this, and that, even in the Bible's terms, still is capable of loving more than I am. I'm over here saying, but I go to work and I'm responsible and I do all these other things. But my love meter is all the way down here and Cotton's blowing me out the water. I can do all these things, but if I don't have love, it doesn't mean anything. Cotton's got the love and she doesn't have to do anything else. So, if God is unconditional love, Cotton is closer to God than I am. And that's the conviction that I feel. I feel I should be able to love the way that she does. She's just a dog. How come I can't? The fact of the matter is that she's not worried about things that I'm worried about. She's not worried about the job and the money, the finances, and the status, and all these different things. She's not worried about any of that. She's out there naked. She's just roaming around. She doesn't care. She's closer to being like Adam and Eve than I am. Being able to process those types of things, you say, wow, what can I learn from lessons in life? There's a couple of things that I have in my life. When I look at Cotton the deaf boxer, I don't see just a dog anymore. I see an opportunity for me to learn something. I do this as much as I can when it comes to movies and music and watching people do their life. Watching that, I'm trying to learn lessons and saying, what can I learn from that? What can I obtain from that situation? Even from something that I would deem as negative. Dogs, I have no time for dogs. If we're strong enough and we want it bad enough, we can even learn lessons from things that we completely dismiss. We can learn lessons from people that you dismiss. People that come up and you're like, I can't stand that person. Yeah, but what does that person have that you don't? Chances are they got something that you don't. Chances are they may have a trait that you don't have. Being able to notice those things require for us to get out of our bubble and to be able to say, God, show me something bigger. Show me something bigger. I think that we all love dogs because, again, I think that we do fall into a place of enabling and all kinds of other things that fall into it. But dogs, again, they have these characteristics that I'm like, you set the bar. There's kids that set the bar higher than us. I know that. You see a kid and be like, that kid actually, the kids blow me out the water when it comes to how you treat people. You can make friends on the playground. I'm over here having a hard time just talking to the person next to me. When we be able to notice those types of things, I think we can have an opportunity to be able to grow. And I think that's what this whole entire thing more so is about, is do you want to grow and are you willing to learn lessons from other things? Just because they're not perfect doesn't mean you can't learn lessons from them. This is an imperfect creature, 100%. But it doesn't mean I can't learn something from this creature. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for what I can learn from things nowadays. Not just how these things are not mine, I don't like them. I'm looking for now, how can I learn from these? I want to grow. I'm desperate to grow, so I'll take what I can get, even if it is from a deaf dog. That's all I have for you guys tonight.
Nice.
All right. You guys are more than welcome to pet the deaf Just a reminder, we have prayer box that is here in the back. So if you have a prayer, please put it right in there. Somebody will pray for it for sure. Outside of that, we have all kinds of meetings happening during the week. Our closest one. Do we have anything going on tomorrow, Chief?
I think we have a singles party going on, but you have to be in the know to know about that.
All right, if you're not invited, don't show up.
And,
Sunday, that's the big party. So show up on Sunday morning over at New Song at 11 o'clock, and then also Sunday night, 6 o'clock. We're going to be able to.
Big time.
Oh yeah, you don't want to miss it. Trust me, you miss one, you miss a lot. So Sunday, be there, and then we have Bible studies during the week, and keep showing up. It's a beautiful thing.
What time is it?
Sunday at 6 o'clock. Yeah, Sunday at 6 o'clock. So
Dress up?